Hi guys, I'll be telling you about the core modules of Fedena today. So the core modules are the basic functionalities that we get in Fedena. So the basic functionalities would include how do you create batches, how do you create courses, how do you add subjects in it, how do you conduct examinations, how do you set timetable, and how do you mark attendance of the student, how do you admit students, admit employees. So all that we are going to see in this module. So first thing that we should know about is logging in Fedena. So there are four kind of users who can log in. That would be the admin, who has the full control over Fedena. Then we have the employees, that would be the teachers, the staff members of the institution. Then we have the students and the parents of the student. So for the first time, I should be logging in as an admin. So by default, the username would be admin and the password would be admin123. And here I will get this screen, and this is known as the dashboard of the admin. So here the boxes that you see are giving you some information about your institution. For example, what all employees are on leave today, I can see that. What all are the fees due, so I will be able to see the fee collections here. What all are the examinations that are pending for today will be appearing here. So these are the dashlets. Then Fedena has a lot of functionalities that are divided under these tabs that you see here. And the first thing as an administrator that should be done is you should go to administration and settings, and here general settings. And here you should let Fedena know about your institution. For example, you can tell Fedena about the name, address and phone number of your institution. Then what is the attendance that you will be taking? So will it be daily or will it be based on the number of subjects that you have in a day? What is the finance year start and end date? Then what is the receipt number that will be appearing in the incomes or in the receipts when you take fees or when you get any income using Fedena? So the first receipt number, for example, here I've given it will be LC01. The subsequent receipt numbers would be LC01, 02 and so on. Language, time zone, country and currency type will depend on what is the location of your institute. Then there is precision count, which tells how many digits should be coming after decimal in the financial transactions that you see in Fedena. Then you can upload the logo of the institution. Then based on how you are assessing the students, how the examination grades are considered, you can check the grading systems here. So ICSE, CC, which is generally specific to India, CWA is course weighted average, and GPA is grade point average. So you can check the ones that are applicable to you. Enable auto increment of student and employee admission number would mean that after you've entered the first student or the first employee, the subsequent students and the employees admission numbers or the employee numbers will come auto incremented. So if you want that, you can check that from here. You can enable news comment moderation, meaning that there is a news module in Fedena where anyone can comment. So if you want the comments to be moderated or approved by the admin, you can check this. Then if you want the brothers and sisters which are students in Fedena to be related, you can check this option. Then you can enable password change at first time login for the users who are going to log in for the first time in Fedena after you create them in Fedena. So once this is done, the second setting that you should be doing as an administrator would be going to manage course and batch. So here you can create courses. Now courses, if you're a school, then courses would generally mean grade 1, grade 2 or class 1, class 2. Another nomenclature, standard 1, standard 2 and so on. So these are the courses. And courses are going to have batches. So batches are the group of students that you have in a course. For example, I have a grade 1 course here, which is having two batches, A 2014 and A 2015. And these batches are in turn going to have students. So here you can create a course by clicking on new. You have to give the name of the course, let's say grade 1. Leave the section blank. So if you are a school, you should not use the section name here. You can give some code. For example, for grade 2, I'll be writing here G2. And I can select the grading system type. So as per what I've selected in general settings, those options will be coming here, and I can select what is the grading system that this course is going to follow. Then I can check enable elective selection in case I want the students to be able to select their own subjects. And initial batch details can be given. So in this way I can create a course. Let me see a course that is not there so that I can create it. So I'll be creating, let's say, standard 4. And here I don't have to give section name. I'll be giving the code as S4 and the first initial batch details to be, let's say, A 2015, denoting that the batch started in 2015. And you can give the start and end date of this batch. So in this way you have to create the course, and inside that course you have to initially create a batch. And then inside this course you will see the batch is actually named like this. So it is a course code followed by actual batch name. So in this way you can create courses and batches if you're a school. In case you're a university, your batches, your courses would be something like BTech Computer Science Engineering Semester 1. So this is now the course, and inside this Semester 1 you're going to have batches like A 2015, which started this year, A 2016, which is going to start next year, B 2015, which is another set of students for this year. So this is only Semester 1. So in this case you can create Semester 2 if you're having 2 semesters, or any number of semesters dependent on how many semesters your institution has for a particular course. So this is how you're going to create courses and batches. And the next step after doing this would be adding subjects to the batch. So I'll be selecting the batch. So let's say my batch is S4, and I can add normal subjects to it or electives. Normal subjects would mean the subjects that are mandatory for everybody to be able to study. So all the students of this batch are going to study these subjects. So I can add a normal subject. Let's call it English. And I can give the code of that subject, how many maximum weekly classes are going to happen for that subject. So here I'm creating maths, and how many weekly classes of mathematics are going to happen. It means how many hours of mathematics am I going to take for mathematics. So this is the number of hours actually. Now we can create electives as well. So in case you are a university, you might want to give an option to students to be able to select their own subjects. So let's say that elective name is languages, and inside this I can add subjects again. So let's say I'm giving an option to the students to be able to select from Spanish and let's say French. So in this way you can add as many electives as you wish to, and here you can assign students which are going to take these electives. So since they are not mandatory for all the students, you can assign the students from here. So this is how you have to add subjects for each batch that you have. And while creating another batch, you can actually copy the subjects, because for batches the subjects would be similar. So there is an option to copy the subjects as well while you create a new batch now. Now the next step would be to add student category. So the category of the student would generally be dependent on how is the fee structure for them. For example, let's say there are 100 students who are in standard 4, and all the 100 students are going to pay, let's say, 600 as the fees. There might be some students whom I want to give concession or discount. In that case, I'm going to put them in a criteria or a category. So that is a criteria that you mention here. So in Fedena, you will be able to give discounts to these criteria or the categories. So I've created categories like staff child, sibling and institution, and so on, depending on who all you would like to give discount to later on. So this is how you have to create student category. Then there is an admission form in Fedena which has a fixed number of fields. If you want to create a custom fields, you can create them here. So they will be appearing in the admission form now. For example, I've created a field called passport. So I want to take the passport number of the student. So I'm creating this field, and this field will be appearing. So in the same way, I've created few other fields as well. So I'll be getting these 5 extra field or additional fields along with the normal admission form that is there for the student in Fedena. Then we have this SMS module. So SMS has to be configured before you come here and enable it for the application. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to go to your accounts.fedena.com. So you will be given a username and password to this. So this is your SAS panel or the super admin panel. And here you have to go under company. You have to go to SMS. And here you have to enter these settings as per the third-party SMS provider has given you. So once these settings are entered properly, you will be coming here and you will be enabling SMS for your application, meaning that now you want to start using SMS sending from Fedena. So once you do that, these options will be appearing. And the first 4 options that you see here, you'll be able to send automatic SMS. So whenever a student is admitted, you'll be able to send SMS. Exam is scheduled or result is published, attendance is a student is absent, or some event is created in Fedena. So in these 4 scenarios, you'll be able to send automatic SMS, and the last 3 are for manual SMS sending. So here when you go back, you'll be able to see these links. So for the student, for the employee, manual SMS sending can be done. So here, for example, I can select this batch. I'll be getting the students. I can check the students I want to send SMS to, and I can mention that SMS here, and I can send it. So in the same way, you can send it to the full batch of the student, to the set of employees, to all the users of Fedena. You can even see the SMS logs. So what is the SMS that was automatically sent, on what date, and when you click on it, you can even see the status, whether it was sent properly or not. So these are the general settings that you have to do. So these will come under administration and settings. So once you are done with these settings, the next step would now be to admit students. So you'll be going to students and student admission. When you open this, you'll be able to see this form here. And here you will see admission number. So admission number for the first time is to be mentioned. And for the subsequent times, it is going to auto increment. So I started from user 1, and since I have a lot of users, a lot of students here, so it is automatically coming to be user 84, which is again editable. So you can select the admission date as well. This admission date can be a previous date, it can be today, or it can be a future date. You can enter the first name of the student. You can enter what is the batch that the student is going to belong to. So let's say he's going to belong to standard 4. So I'll be selecting that from here. So other details can also be filled in. You can select the category of the student. So let's say he's a staff child. So I'll be selecting that. And the other details can also be filled in as per the student profile. And here, since I've enabled sibling, it is asking me about the sibling details of the student. So if you're entering data for the first time in Fedena, you can skip this and enter the parent details of the student instead. Or otherwise, you can search the other student. So let's say this is the other student who is the brother of the student. So I'm selecting it. And now what will happen in this case is the parent details of the other student will be copied to the current student. So the parent is going to have only one login. And these are the previous institute educational details. So if a student is coming from standard 3 to standard 4, and in standard 3 he was in a different institution, those details can be filled in here. Then these are the additional details. So these details can also be filled in. So the mandatory details have to be filled in. Since I made one additional component as a mandatory field, so it is asking me to fill in. and the profile of the student will be created like this. And this student will be able to log in using user 84 as the username, and password would be user 84123. So let me show you that like this. And since he's logging in for the first time, he's going to be prompted to change his password. And students will have fixed privileges. So you will observe that all the students are going to get the fixed number of links or fixed number of functionalities that you see here. Unlike employees. For employees, these functionalities will vary based on the privileges that you assign them. So this is about students and student admission. Then let's see student details, where you can search the student, the present student or the former student. Then here there is this option of advanced, where you can actually get some good reports. For example, let's say if I want to see the students who belong to grade 1. So I can just select this, and when I search it, I'll be getting all the students of grade 1, and I can get a CSV or a PDF report of it as well. So this is about how you admit students. Now the next thing that we are going to see is HR module. So HR module is related to human resources, meaning that management of employees. So adding the employees, managing their leaves, generation of their pay slips. So let's see all that. The first thing that we have to do is we have to do the settings. So the first thing is adding the employee category. So here you can categorize the employees of your institution. For example, teachers are one category. So I've created a category called teaching. Then you can have HR as another category, accounts, admissions, and so on. So based on how you want to categorize the employees of your institution, you can create those categories here. Then you can add the employee position, meaning that for the category that you just created, for example, let's say I created teaching. So what is the position of an employee in that category? What can be the possible positions? So let's say someone can be a junior teacher. So this is one of the positions. Someone can be a professor. So this is another position. So in this way, I have created few positions like professor in teaching, mid-level in teaching, lecturer in teaching, and so on. So you can create some positions here. And the next thing would be the department of the employee. So here you have to categorize the employees based on maybe the subjects that they are taking, or you can also be more generic. For example, you can have academics and another one as sports. So here I have done based on the subjects. So why are we doing these settings is because in the employee admission form, it is going to ask me what is the category of the employee that you are admitting, what is his position, what is his department, and the other details as well, what we are going to do next. So the next thing that we see here is the employee grade. So what is the grade of the employee in the institution? What is the level of the employee? For example, I've created grade 1. So a level 1 employee will have maximum hours per day to be 1, maximum hours per week to be 4. So we are setting the hours that this grade 1 employee should be taking, and the priority denotes the authority level or the seniority level of the employee. So in the same way we have grade 2. For example, for grade 2 employee, I am saying that I am setting that 2 hours he should be taking in a day and 6 hours he should be taking in a week. And the priority to be 2, denoting that he is having less authority level as compared to grade 1 employee. So in this way I have created few grades here. And again, I'll be able to assign these grades to the teachers because teachers will be working on hourly basis. Then we can add the payroll categories of the employees. So the components that you see in the payslip of the employee, for example, earnings. So they can be a fixed component, let's call it basic salary. They can be dependent components, and you can even have the same in deductions. So for example, I created the category called basic salary like this. So just give it a name, and since it is a fixed component, I do not have to mention anything in percentage and percentage off. If I'm creating a dependent component, for example, I've created this dependent component. So it is I can enter the percentage and percentage off because it is dependent on an existing component. And I can do the same for a deduction which is dependent, like this. So in this way, you have to create all the earnings and the deductions. So these are the components that you would like to see in the payslip of the employee. And while admitting the employee, you can assign these components the actual figures. Then you can take the bank details of the employee. So that would be the account number, the bank name, the branch, the IFSC code, or any details that you wish to take from the employee, and this is only for record keeping. So this will be reflecting in the employee profile. So again, I am creating some custom fields but particular to bank. Then we have add additional details. So these are custom fields which are general. So the same way we did for student. So once we've done these settings, we can now come to employee management and admit the employee by going to employee admission. And for the first time, the employee number will be appearing here as E1, which is editable. So since I already have some employees, it is automatically coming as E63. And I can enter some employee now. And you will see that it is asking for the department of this employee. So let's say this employee is an English teacher. So I can select the department to be English, category to be teaching, and position to be professor, let's say, and the grade, depending on how many hours this employee should be working, I can assign the grade, and I can fill in the other details as well. So the next step, you can enter the home addresses, office addresses, contact details of this employee so that you can refer to them at any later point. Then these are the bank details. So as the fields that are created by me, they are appearing here, which can be filled in. And similarly, we have the additional details. And then this is the privileges that I should be assigning to the employee. So what this employee should be able to do in Fedena. For example, let's say this employee should be able to mark the attendance of the student. So I can check this option here, student attendance register. This employee should be able to send SMS, so I can check this option here, SMS management. So in this way, based on the role of the employee in the institute, I can check the options that are applicable to this employee, and in the profile of this employee, I'll be able to see only these options and not all the options like it is coming for admin. So after I've set the privileges, I can assign the manager or the supervisor of the employee. Now this is required mainly because the employee will be applying for leave and the manager is the one who is going to approve it. So I'm again selecting some employee that is already there in Fedena. And now it is asking for the payroll details. So these are the payroll categories that I've created. And I have to assign them figures particular to this employee. So let's say I'm entering this figure, and when I click outside, you will observe that the dependent components automatically get filled in. And the fixed components have to be filled in particularly for this employee. If there is a component that is not applicable to this employee, you can mention 0 for that. So once this is done, you will see that the profile of the employee is created like this. And the employee will be able to log in using E63 and E63-123. So here, and again, he will be prompted to change the password since he is logging in for the first time. So for this employee, you will observe that as per the privilege that you've given him, he is able to see only those links. So he can see attendance and he will be able to see SMS in settings. So this is about how you enter the employees, how you assign them privileges. Now the next step is, if this employee is a teacher, I need to assign him to a subject. So that is employee subject association. So I'll be selecting the batch. So let's say this is the batch, and the subjects of this batch will appear. And for this subject, let's say I can assign this teacher which is newly created. So I have all these teachers already. I am assigning the teachers. So this has to be done for each subject of each batch. So based on what is the teacher or who is the teacher who is going to teach that subject, you can assign it. And later on in timetable creation, it is going to help us. So now we've done employee management. Let's see how we can manage the leaves of the employees. So we can add the leave types. For example, based on the leave types that you provide to the employees, you can add them here. Like I've created sick leave. So you can give the name to be sick leave. You can give the code here. How many maximum count of the leave is there? Do you want to enable carry forward? Meaning that if there is some leaves that are left out of the maximum leave count, do you want that to be carried forward to the next duration? So in the same way, you have to create other leave types here. Once you've done that, you need to mention what is the duration for these leave types, meaning that till what time are these leave types eligible. So for that, you can go to leave reset settings, and here you can mention the period in months. So the meaning here is that beginning this date for a period of 4 months, you will be able to take maximum 3 sick leaves. So as per what you said there. Similarly, let's say 4 casual leaves, 30 maternity leaves, and so on. And enable automatic reset would mean that after this period is over, do you want to give the maximum leave count of each leave to the employee again? Means that the employee is again going to get 3 leaves after a period of 4 months, 3 sick leaves, and other leave types as well. So you can enable automatic reset from here. If you do not want to automatically reset it after this period, you can even do it manually. So you can reset all from here for all the employees. You can do it department wise. You can even do it individually for a particular employee by searching the employee. So this is about how you can create leaves and set the reset time for them. Then you can see the attendance register of the employee. But before that, let me show you how an employee can apply for a leave. So let's say there is this employee who can log in into his profile, and he'll be able to go to academics and profile. And under leaves, he'll be getting this leave application form which he has to fill in. So let's say he wants casual leave. From what is the duration can be selected here, and what is the reason can be mentioned here. So once these leave types are created, they will be applied to the manager of this employee. Since he has already taken the maximum count of this leave, let me take it for some other leave type. So now this leave is created. And for this employee, the manager of the employee is this. And I'll be logging in as the manager of the employee, and I'll be able to approve or deny that leave request. So here you will see that in my dashlet itself, I'm able to see the leave application. So I can just click on it, and it is going to take me to the leave application, and either I can approve it or deny it. So let's say I approve it. I have to mention the comments. So here leave is approved for this employee. So this is how the employee will be applying for the leave, and the manager will be approving it. Now as an administrator, I'll be able to see the attendance register of the employees for a particular department. So I can select that department here, and you will observe that all the employees will appear here for that department. And in Fedena, by default, all the employees are present. So wherever you see a blank cell, it denotes present. Wherever you see this cross sign, it denotes absent. And this is appearing because these employees have applied for leave and it was approved by the manager of that employee. So I can even get a report of this. So which employee has applied for what kind of leaves and what is the number. So like this. So all these are the employees and they have applied for these many leaves. So this is about employee leave management. Then we can create the payslip of the employee. So here we can select each and every employee. For example, let's select the new employee who we've admitted. And as per the facts or figures that I've entered for this employee while admitting him, I'll be getting these details here. And I can edit these details. And the salary date would denote the month for which I want to generate the salary slip of this employee. I can add individual category as well. For example, let's say I want to give him bonus for this month. So I can mention that amount here. I can even enter deductions as well. So this is particular to this employee. So once I create it, I'll be creating the payslip of this employee for the month of January. So like this, I have to create the payslip of each and every employee. So this is one way. The other way is in one click. So you can go to this one-click payslip generator, and for this month, you can just click on go, and it is going to generate all the payslips of all the employees for this particular month as per the figures that you've entered while admitting the employee. And in case you have done some mistake or you want to revert the payslip that you just generated, you can use one-click payslip revert. So it is going to revert all the payslips that are generated. Now, whenever a payslip is generated, it has to be approved by someone. So that would be the person of finance. So you have to go to administration and finance and payslip. And here you'll be going to view payslip, and you can do it one by one by selecting the department and selecting the month. And here you'll be able to see the pending or the approved payslips. So if you've generated all of them will be coming pending here, and you can click on view. So it will give you an option to either approve it or reject it. So based on the figures, you can either approve or reject it. In case you're rejecting it, it will be going back to the HR, and the HR will be able to edit it and generate again. So let's say I'm approving it. So once the payslip is approved, it cannot be reverted. Only the pending payslips or the generated payslips can be reverted. So here, when I go to HR and create payslip, I will see this rejected employee payslip. So here only those employees will be coming for whom the payslip is rejected. And the HR will be given an option to edit it and send it back to the finance department. So this is about generation of payslip. Then we can search the employees from here. So we just have to mention the first 3 letters of the employee name, and we'll be able to see the profile. Then we can see the status of the payslips for all departments for a particular month. So it will show all the employees for whom the payslip is generated, whether it is approved or rejected, whether it is approved or pending, and what is the total salary, what is the approved salary. So this is about the generation and how the payslip can be approved and how the payslip status can be seen. So after this, let's see what is, we are going to see now the timetable module. So how can we configure timetable? So this is again one of the important core modules. So we can first set the weekdays as per how many working days are there for the institution. I can check them here. After that, I can set the class timings. So class timings would mean like in a particular day or throughout the week days that I've set. Let's say it is Monday to Friday. So what is the timetable that they're following? So is it 9 to 10, 9 to 10:30, 10:30 to 11, 11 to 11:30? So these are the class timings. For example, I've created these class timings. 9 to 10, 10 to 11, like that. So you can add these class timings. So here you have to go to this class timing sets and click on new and give the name of the class timing. So for example, class timing for all levels or the full school. So you can give it a meaningful name here. And here, when you go to class timing sets, that will be appearing here. In front of it, just click on this class timings and click on add. And you can add the period details here. So let's say it is, let's call it a class. Let's say it is class 3 or period 3. So you can give these details here. Let's say it starts at 3 p.m. and it ends at 4 p.m. So I can mention like this. Okay, time overlapping should not happen. I already have a time period between this set, so I'm changing it like this. So in this way, I have to create the class timings, and then these class timings are to be assigned to the batches that are going to follow these timetable. So I'll be selecting that class timing that I just created, and I'll be checking the batches that are going to follow it and clicking on this arrow like this. So this is how you have to assign the batches to the class timing sets. Then you can do work allotment. So work allotment is similar to what we did in employee subject association, where we assigned teachers who will be taking classes for a particular subject. So here all the batches will be coming, and we can assign teachers here as well. So here I'll be able to assign any teacher irrespective of the department. It shows all the teachers and I can assign it to the subject. Here on the right hand side you will see the task management of the employees. It denotes how many hours the employee is working. 4 remaining would mean the employee can take 4 hours more based on the subjects that he is assigned and the grade that he was assigned while admitting him. 24 deficit would mean he's taking 24 hours more than he was assigned to take as per his grade and as per the subjects. OK denotes that this employee is taking the perfect number of hours as per his grade and as per his subject allotment. So this is about the work allotment. Then we can create timetable. So we need to set some duration. So let's say we are setting it from 19th. I'm setting a shorter duration, but generally this would be the academic year of the batch. So the timetable should not exist between these dates already, so there can be no overlapping. So let me show you the time duration that I've already created. So let's say it is 17th to 19th Jan. So when you click on it, you have to click on edit entries to be able to add slots. So you have to select the batch that you want to add the slot for. So let's say this is the batch and the timetable set class timing set for this batch will be appearing like this. So here for this batch, all the subjects will be appearing and the associated teachers would be appearing. So in case you have not done employee subject association, you also are provided the link here to be able to do it. So let me do it for this batch. So the batch is S5 and let's say this is the subject. I can assign some employee who will be taking this subject. So in the same way I can do it for another subject. So in this way I have to do it for all the employees, all the subjects. So I've done it for 3 subjects now. Now if I go back to selecting the batch and the batch that we just created, this one, and I'll be able to select the employee, the subject, and the employee will appear. Now let's say this English 1 is going to happen from 9 to 10:15 on Monday, on Tuesday between this time, on Wednesday at this time, and on Thursday at this time. So I'm just clicking it on the cells and I can drag and drop this into one of the cells and it will be replicated in the other cells. So the same I have to do for other subjects as well. So let me do it for one more subject like this. So in this way you have to create the timetables. And all the clashes are also taken care of like this. So it is going to give you warnings and you can either override it or you can cancel it. So this is about how you can create the timetable, and then based on the timetable that you created, you can view the same timetable. So for a particular duration of the timetable, it is going to show you the timetable like this, and you can get a PDF report of it as well. Then we have the teacher timetable. So again, based on the timetable allotment that you have done, the teacher timetable will be automatically created. So it shows you what teacher is available or busy on a particular date, on a particular day, and between what time. So this is about the teacher timetable. Then we have the institutional timetable, which denotes the timetable of the full institution for a particular date. So for today, what classes are being conducted will be shown like this. So for this batch, this is the subject that is being taken. It shows the employee who is taking it like this. And this can be changed for a future date or for a previous date as well. Then we have timetable tracker, where we can substitute the subject or the teacher of the subject. So this will be used in cases where the teacher will not be able to take, the scheduled teacher in the timetable will not be able to take a particular period. So you can select that batch here, and for that batch the timetable will be appearing as set by you for today. And let's say this is the teacher who will not be able to take this class. So you can change the teacher here, and even the subject also can be changed. And these substitutions, since these are last moment changes, they are not reflected in the original timetable. Rather, we get a report here like this. So here one hyphen would denote that this teacher has taken one less hour as per his work allotment, and one plus would denote he has taken one more hour as per his work allotment. So this is about the timetable tracker. Then we have classroom allocation, where you'll be able to create buildings and allocate batches to it. So here you can add a building. You just have to give the name of the building. And inside the building, you can add rooms. So you can click on this add rooms and it is going to ask you for the name of the room and the capacity of the students it can handle. So this is about classroom allocation. So you can add the buildings like this. I have added other buildings, I've added rooms in them. And then we can allocate the classroom to the batches. So we'll go to weekly allocation where we have to select the duration of the timetable. So let's say this is the academic year. And I will be able to see the full weekdays. And as per the allotment that I've done, the batches will be appearing here. And I need to set the classroom for the whole week, which is Monday to Friday. And it will be repeating for the duration of the timetable. For example, let's say for Monday, for G1A 2014, which is batch, mathematics is going to be taken by Aman. So we can select where is this going to be happening. So here I'll be able to select and drag and drop this to this slot. So when I do this, I'll be able to assign mathematics will be taken by this employee between this duration for this batch in N1 classroom. So in this way I have to allocate the classrooms till Friday, Monday to Friday, and it will be repeating for the duration of the timetable. And in case you want to change it for a particular date, you can do it here. So you can select that particular date. All the dates will be appearing for a particular month. You can select that date and you'll be getting the timetable, and you can change it, change the classroom for that particular date. So this is about how you can do classroom allocation and how you can manage timetable in Fedena. So now after timetable, we are going to see the student attendance. So here we can mark the attendance of the student by selecting the batch. All the students of this batch will appear like this. And here, by default, all the students are present. So wherever you see a blank cell, it denotes the student is present. In case you want to mark the student absent, you can click on that particular cell. It is going to ask for the reason. You can mention the reason, and you can mention whether the student will be absent for the full duration or half of the day. So once you do that, it will be denoted by this sign here. So in this way, students can be marked absent. If you want to bypass every time entering the reason, you can check this rapid attendance and you just have to click on the cell. So just clicking on the cell would denote here that the student is absent and we are not prompted to enter the reason. Then we can see two kinds of reports here. So we can see for a particular batch what is the record of the student, the attendance record of the student. So likewise it will come here. So this shows the total number of working days and how many working days are attended by the student. And then we can see the day-wise attendance. So it shows for today, for a particular date, it can be changed from here. What is the overall strength of the institution? So there are 79 students present in Fedena and all of them are present. If I mark somebody absent, that absentee will be coming here for that particular batch. And when I click on it, it will be showing me the names and the admission number of the students who are absent. So this is for a particular date. So it is day-wise attendance. So this is how we can mark the attendance of the student. So now I'll be telling you about the examination module. So here we can do some settings where we can set the grading level. So the grading level is the grades that you would like to see in the report card of the student. For example, if the student is scoring 95 and above, you want to give the grade as A. 80 to 95 B, 70 to 80 C, and so on. So there are some set defined grades that are already in Fedena. You can edit them from here. So as per what is followed by the institution, they can be edited. They can also be changed for a particular batch. So if it is different for a particular batch, it can be changed. Then we have the ranking levels. So ranking levels are generally the criteria that we are setting. For example, I have this course which is, let's say, Kindergarten 1, and I have created a ranking level called Top Performer. So what it means is that if there are students who are having minimum 95% marks in at least 4 subjects in Kindergarten 1, they will be categorized as top performers. So these are the category, or I'm creating some criterias, and based on those criterias I'll be able to see reports at the later stage. For example, I want to see the high performers. So I call high performers the students who are going to have in at least 2 subjects minimum 85% marks. Similarly, I've created above average performers, fail, and so on. So these are the ranking levels. Then we have the class designations, which are similar to ranking levels, but with the difference that it doesn't ask you for the number of subjects, and here the limit is always minimum. Meaning that the students of Kindergarten 1 will be categorized as first class students if they get 90%, minimum 90% marks overall. So in the same way, I've created second class and I've created average. So again, I'm categorizing the students based on how they are performing. Then I can create exams. So I can select the course, and here I can click on new, and let's say for this course, which is grade 2, there are 2 exams that are going to happen. So I can give the first exam name as, let's say, term 1. And here what I want to see in the report card for this term 1. So let's say I want to see both marks and grades. Now I'll be creating this for a course which has subjects, so it would be easier to understand. So let's say this is the course. So here I'll be creating, let's say I already have term 1, so let's say I'm creating term 2, and I want to show marks and grades. So it'll appear like this. So here what I'm doing actually is I'm scheduling this term 2 examination, meaning that the subjects will appear here automatically. So when do I want to conduct the examination for this subject? So I'll be selecting the start and end time. And what is the maximum marks for these subjects? And what is the minimum marks? And these can also be changed as per for a particular subject. So this way I have to select the start date and end date of the examinations for each of these subjects. So I'm scheduling the exams of each subject in this term 1. So once I've done that, I'll be able to publish this exam schedule so that the students will be able to see in their profile. So I'll be given an option here to publish exam schedule. So when I do that, you will see that the students, they will have this option of going to academics and calendar, and here for this date you will see that they'll be able to see what all exams are there, at what time, and for what subject. So this is what happens when you publish the exam schedule. The students are intimated about it, Once the exam schedule is published, the teacher is going to enter the marks for his or her own subject. So when I log in as a teacher, let's say I'm the teacher of English 1, I'll be only able to see English 1 here, and I'll be able to enter marks for the students like this as per what they have scored. Now we are assuming that the students have written the exam, and I can give some remarks as well. So this has to be done for each student and for each batch here. So once this is done, we can connect the exams, which means since there were 2 exams and the final report will have some weightage of these 2 exams, so we are going to go to connect exams and mention what is the weightage. So let's say term 1 exam was 40%, term 2 exam is 60%. So I can mention that here like this. So after I connect the exams, I'll be able to see the reports correctly. So those will be the final reports. So here the exams are grouped. Now I can go and generate the report. So I'll go to this generate reports. I'll be selecting the course and I'll be clicking on generate. So once this is done, I'll be able to see the reports in Report Center. So for normal and CWA exams, these are the 12 kind of reports that are available. For CCE and ICSE, there are different reports. These reports are also for GPA, so for the colleges and the universities. So let me show you a few reports here. For example, we have exam-wise report. So here I'll be selecting the batch. So let's say this is the batch. I'll be selecting the exam group. So this exam group is those 2 terms that I created. For this batch I've created 5, so they are appearing like this. So let me select one of them. So this is how the report of the student will look like for that particular term. So these are the students. I can click on them and see the particular details. So it shows the subject, it shows the marks that are obtained, what is the grade, what is the percentage, what are the remarks, and it also shows the graphical view. So it shows how much the student is deviating from the class performance. I can even add general remarks. For example, let's say as a class teacher, I want to mention some remarks here. So I'll be writing the role here and I'll be writing the remark here. So this is one of the reports, which is exam-wise report. Then we can see subject-wise. So for a particular subject, I'll be able to see how the student has scored. So this student has scored this in this exam group. So term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4, like that. Then we can even see the grouped exam report. So the combined view of all the terms. So for this batch, we can see like this. So how much the student got in term 1, how much he got in term 2, and what is the combined can be seen from here. So then we can even see some other reports as well. Let me show you one more report, which is about the transcript. So we can select the batch here, and for that student, all the courses that he's undergone will be appearing. So let's say this is the transcript of a student of a university. In that case, he'll be looking at semester 1 here, then below it will be coming semester 2, semester 3, and so on. So as per how many times have you batch transferred the student, the report will get added here. So these are the reports, and there are other reports as well which are applicable for examination. So now let me tell you about the finance module. So here we'll go to administration and we'll go to finance, and first thing we'll see how to configure the fees of the student. So here we have to create the fees and we have to go in this flow. So we have to create the category. So we can give some name here. For example, fees for Standard 5 2015. I can give an appropriate name here, a readable name, and that batch can be selected. If the fees is applicable to more than one batch, that can also be selected from here. So we can select more than one batch, and I can create particular here. So for this fee category, I'll be able to create what all particulars are there. For example, tuition fee. I can mention the amount, and this amount can be for all the students together or based on the admission number or for a particular category of the student. I can create one more particular, let's say. So I can mention the amount here. So once we've created the particulars, we can even create discount. So let's say there are some students who belong to the student category. We can give discounts to a batch also and to a particular student as well. We have to select the category of the student to which we want to give discount and on which fees type and what is the name. So let's say it is discount for staff children. An appropriate name can be given. And here we can mention the discount in the form of percentage of the full fees or a fixed amount. And now we can create fines. So we are going to schedule the fee collection after this, meaning that we are going to give start and the end date and the due date of the fee when you're going to collect it. So here we are setting some fine slabs. So if a student is not paying on time, I have created a fine name called penalty after due date, and one day of due date I'll be taking 100, which is the fine, and it can again be in the form of percentage or amount of fees. So 2 days after due date, the student will be paying 200 over and above his current fees. So in this way I can add fines. And once I've configured these 4 things, which is about fees, I'm going to schedule the fee. So I'm going to select the category. I'll be giving a fee collection name. So let's say it is the start year fee collection for this batch, which is S5. If fine is applicable, I can select that. And I have to give the start date, end date, and due date of this fee collection. So when are you going to collect the fees? That has to be mentioned here. And end date and start date, end date and due date can be same as well. In case you want to give gap between end date and due date, that can also be given. That may be because you want the student to give fine after the due date. So keeping that in mind, you can set the end date and the due date appropriately. So once this is done, you will be able to collect the fees from student in these 3 ways. So the first way is by the course of the student. So I'll be selecting the batch. I'll be selecting the fee collection that is applicable to this batch. So the one that I created, and the students will appear like this. So this is how the profile of the student or the receipt of the student will appear. It shows the particulars, and since the student is a staff child, the discount is automatically coming here. So we can scroll like this and we can see for each student. So it shows we can also do partial payment. For example, let me show you for this student. For this student, the amount to be paid is 10500. So I can do partial payment here like this. I can select the payment date to be the previous today or a future date. I can mention the payment note, and all these payment modes are available. So I can pay this amount, which is a partial amount. So the amount to be paid changes accordingly. I can again pay some amount. So in this way I can do the partial payments for this for this student. And then I can print the receipt as well, which is going to show me the payment history like this. So this is about how you can collect the fees from the student course-wise. Then we have other way, which is for each student. So I can search the name of the student, and I can again select the fee collection for him, and it will be again the same screen will be coming, and I can collect the fees. And the third way is particular wise payment. So I can search the student and the fee collection, and here I'll be able to pay installments for a specific particular. For example, let's say for this tuition fee I want to pay 6,000, but since discount is also applicable to me, I can mention that discount here. Let's say this is the amount that I can pay. 500 is the discount. And for this I want to pay in installments, so I can just mention 1,000. So this way I can pay this amount particular wise. So this is about fee collection. Then we can see the fee structure of a particular student. So this will only show what are the particulars specific to that student. So if any discount is there, it will show that. It doesn't show what is the amount that is paid by the student. If you want to see what the reports, we can go to Student Fees Headways report. Here we can see for a particular batch what all students have paid and what is the amount that they have paid. So like this. So it shows the student, it shows the fee collection, amount that the student should be paying, and amount that the student is already paid. For example, for this student, the student has done partial payment. So that can be seen from here. So that can also be done fee collection wise, meaning that if there is more than one fee collection particular to a batch, I can select that fee collection here. And I'll be getting the same details. And the third one is student wise. So I can search the student, and I'll be able to see what is the amount that the student has paid, what is the amount that the student is yet to pay. So this is particular to a student. So these are the few reports that are available. Then the next thing that we are going to see in fees is the fee defaulters. So the students who have not paid and their due date is exceeded. So those are the students who will be shown here for a particular batch, for a particular fee collection. So these are the two students who have not paid as per their due date. So their due date of this fee collection is exceeded, so they are coming here. If they are coming and paying, we can collect the fees by clicking on this pay fees. Then we have fees refund. So we can create the refunds, meaning that if the student has already paid the fees and we want to return him the part of the fees that is already paid, we can create that amount here. So for what fee collection do I want? Let's say for this one, what is the name of the refund? So starting what date can I issue the refund, and what is the percentage or the amount of the refund to be issued? That can be mentioned here. For example, I can show the refund that I've already created. Let's say this is the one. So this is the name of the refund. The validity started from 12th of January and the amount to be refunded is this much. So this is how you can create refunds, and then you can apply refunds to the students who you want to give the refund to. So that student you will be selecting the fee collection, and in case there is a refund that is applicable, that you made applicable for this student, you can apply that here. So the option will be coming to pay refund. And there's another enhancement that we have where you can even revert the refund that is paid. So this is about fees refund, and this is fully about the fees in Fedena. Then let me tell you about finance reports. So here for a particular duration, we can see that there are few things which are already tracked in Fedena. For example, whenever I approve a salary, it will get added as an expense here. And when I click on this particular, I'll be able to see more details. So for which department have I issued the salary and for what employee? So this way, even fees is tracked. So whenever you're collecting the fees, it will be added as an income here. Now if you want to track some other particular besides these particulars, we have to go to this category and create finance category. And here when I click on that, I'll be asked to enter the particular. For example, let's say I want to enter the income till now in my institute before I started using Fedena, so that it reflects currently properly in the finance report. So I'll be giving the category name as income till now, let's say, and I can give some description, and since it is an income, I can check this option here. In the same way, I can create expense by unchecking is under income. Now once I do that, I can do a transaction. For an income, I can add income. For an expense, I can add expense. So when I go to add income, I can give some name, some description, the actual amount. So that is the figure, the final figure that I have with me, and what is the category. So all the custom categories that I've created under income are coming here. Once you do that, you will see that in finance report, you will be able to see the details like this. So besides the three particulars that were already tracked, this is also now being tracked because you did a transaction in it. And it reflects now properly the budget of your institution. Then we have automatic transactions. So automatic transactions are in case when you get an income from somebody, you want to get a part of that income only and not the full one. For example, in case of tax deductions. So you can do that automatic transaction on the income that you are getting, and in the financial report, the correct figure will be reflected. So I'm creating an automatic transaction by giving it a name, let's say donation tax. And all the incomes will be coming here. So as what I've created in category, they appear here. And donation is by default, which is an income in Fedena. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating an automatic transaction on donation, meaning that whenever a donation is done, 5% of it should be cut as a tax, and in the finance report, only 95% of it should be reflected. So once I've created this automatic transaction, and if I try to do it, so I'll try to do a donation, let's say of 100 for today, and I go to the finance report, you will observe that only 95% of it is added because of automatic transaction. So it shows here 95 and not 100. When I click on it, I'll get more details like this. So this is about automatic transaction. Then we have seen payslip, where the member of finance can approve the payslips. He can even do it in one click, like the member of HR while generation. Then we have asset liability management, where we can create the assets and keep the records of assets and liabilities. For example, I've created an asset called furniture and the amount that I've spent on it. So in this way, I can create assets and liabilities, and I can get a PDF report of it as well. So this is fully about the finance module. Let's cover the other modules that we are left with. So let's see the calendar. So calendar will denote the events that you create, the examinations that you create, if you create any holidays, and if any fees is due. So as per the fee collections that are created, those details will be coming here. It also includes the other fees due, which is library fee or the transport fee. Now you can see events and holidays here. To be able to create them, you have to go to this event creation module under collaboration. So here you can set the start and end date of the event. So let's say today there is an event. We can give some event name. We can give some description, appropriate description here. And since it is not a holiday, we can uncheck this. We can check it in case we are declaring holiday in Fedena. When you declare holiday in Fedena, meaning that when you check this option, attendance will be disabled for that day in Fedena. If that holiday is common to all, you can check this as well. If this event is common to all, you can check this. Otherwise, in the next screen, it is going to ask you the batches and the employees who will be able to participate. So once you confirm this event, it will be appearing with a black dot here with a black label. And when you hover over it, you will be able to see the details in the right side. So this is how you can create events and holidays. Examinations and dues will appear automatically in the calendar. So then let me tell you about the Remark module, where you can remark a particular student for a particular batch. For example, let's say there is some classwork that happened today and you want to remark the student on that as a class teacher. So all the students are appearing here. So I can mention what is a remark for each student. So the student will be able to see the same in his profile. So once I've given this remark, I can even see the remarks that I've given like this for a particular batch, for a particular student. So in this way. And the student will of course be getting it under his profile. So when the student will go to his profile, you can even search the students and employees from here. So this is the search bar, which is very handy. So here when you go to the profile, let's say I've logged in as the student now. When I go to academics, my profile, I'll be going to remarks and I'll be able to see the remarks that are given to me. So this is about the remarks module. Then let's see news. So in case you want to publish some news that is common or common to your institution, you can add that news here. So you can give the title, you can give some content, and anybody will be able to comment on this news after you publish it. Then we can see some reports here. So the courses that are there, number of courses, number of batches, the number of students, total number of employees can be seen by clicking on these like this. and they can even be sorted by clicking on the name of the cell, the column. So we can see the former student details. So the students that have left the institution can be seen like this. Former employee details in the same way. Then subject details. So what all subjects are there, whether the subject is an elective or not, what is the batch that it is taught in, how many weekly classes or weekly hours are there for that subject can be seen. Then we can see the employee subject association details. So what is a teacher and what teacher is taking what subject and what batch can be seen from here. Then we can see the payroll details of all the employees together. So what employee is having what figures against the payroll categories can be seen like this. Then the exam schedule details. So what is the exam name, what are the subjects under it, and for each subject when is the schedule. So all these details can be seen. Then we can see the fee collection detail. So start and end date of the fee collections. Then fee defaulter details. So in what all batches the students have not paid the fees. So wherever you see a balance, it denotes that in this batch, when you click on it, you can see this is the batch. When you click on it, you'll be see the fee collection and you can see what student has not paid. So by navigating in depth, you'll be able to see the exact defaulter. You can see student fees defaulter details. So this is for the full school. So what all students have not paid the fees. Then the student fees Headways report are same as what we saw in the finance section. So it shows you what is the amount that is left to be paid, what is the amount that is yet to be paid by the student, like this, under these headers. So these are the reports that we have. Then let me tell you about user module, where you can edit the privileges, edit the password of any user. So you can search that user here. You can view the profile, change the password of this user, or edit his privilege in case he is an employee. You can even create a new admin. So another admin if you wish to create. So Fedena can have more than one admin as well. So for the other admin, the same data will be appearing as for this admin. So this is fully about the core modules of Fedena that we've done today.